Now, in this course, what we are going to be doing is we're going to be discussing all of the ways that you can use private label rights, or PLR, to make your online business more profitable. Now, private label rights, and other people call it PLR, it gives you leverage to create more content, more products, and authority with whatever time constraints you are working with. And the need to be prolific with promotional content requires that marketers have new and accurate content on a regular basis. In other words, in order to really get your message out, you can't rely on one message. You can't rely on one social media post. You can't rely on one blog post. It really requires that you are consistent with content, consistent with products, consistent with information that's going to be helpful to people. Now, PLR is available for that, and it's available to those folks who do not have time to research and create this content on a regular basis. So if you had to come up with all of the new ideas, you had to come up with all of the different ways and examples that these new ideas can be applied, you'd probably run short of time, and that's where PLR is at its best in helping you to be able to accomplish that. Now, PLR content is licensed to the buyer to use in their business as if it were their own. So in other words, you are getting in PLR the right or the ability to take what you're given and to either rewrite it or repurpose it or reuse it and use it as if you were the person who came up with the idea. Now, the buyer doesn't have to pay royalties or credit the seller once it's purchased. So in other words, you go out and you purchase this PLR. You don't have to credit the person who wrote it. You don't have to credit the organization you buy it from. It's literally yours to use as you see fit and to credit yourself as if you wrote it. Now, typically, it's sold from one person or one organization to many people. So the PLR content product can routinely be sold to as many as 200 to 300 people at the same time. Now, how is PLR defined? Well, one of the ways that PLR is defined routinely in the marketplace is private label rights. Now, private label rights gives the buyer the right to use it as if they created them themselves. You can also buy what's called resale rights. Now, resale rights gives the buyer the right to resell it, but sometimes without the right to change it in any way. So in other words, you don't necessarily have the latitude to edit it or make it your own. Master resale rights gives the buyer the right to resell the product. So in other words, you buy the product from the PLR creator and then you can sell it to someone who then has the right to sell it again. So it actually is a way of creating more value in the product. Sometimes you can define PLR as personal use rights. So you're really getting the right to learn from or benefit from the product directly. And in some cases, some vendors will give you unrestricted rights. Now, this gives the buyer the right to use it or change it or resell it in any way. So why is PLR such a great value? Well, one of the things, as we talked about, when you've got to create and you've got to come up with all of the different ideas, PLR can really save you research time. It can also save you preparation time. So in other words, you don't have to go through the process of getting all of the blog posts or doing all of the videos. You actually know the information, but then you don't have to prepare the content. PLR can provide the buyer with a way of instantly creating additional value. So you can add PLR to an existing information product you already have, giving the buyer something else, and then instantly creating more value. And actually, in some cases, you can even charge more as a result of adding the PLR. PLR can give the buyer expertise on previously unknown topics. And this is one of the best ways to use PLR. If you want to become an expert on a particular social media topic, you could buy the PLR, learn what's in it, and then use it in order to create content or information products. So let's talk about the ways in which you actually handle PLR once you buy it. So one of the first things you should do is really read and understand the rights certificate. Typically, any resale rights product, PLR product, they're going to give you all of the ways that you are legally able to use that product. And you want to read that rights certificate carefully. You want to make sure that you are within the bounds of the rules created by the seller. Second thing you're going to do is you want to take note of the components you have. So did you get videos? Did you get a cheat sheet? Did you get other content? How are you able to use this content? So you want to make sure you understand each and every component that you have and how you were able to use it. Third, now, what you want to do is archive those components. So you want to make sure that they are put away or filed away in a way that you are going to be able to access it when you want it and when you need it. And so that when you can search for it, you'll be able to find it based on your own personal filing system. And that's actually fourth. You want to label that component archive so that you can easily search it. You want to make sure that anytime you want to find a video on a certain subject, that you're able to easily find that based on your filing system and your archiving system. And of course, in conclusion, having this PLR available in a system that makes sense to you increases the likelihood that you'll be able to find it and use it. Now, that's how you are going to get started with using PLR. Now, in the rest of this course, I'm going to be talking about how you can take that PLR or any rights product and maximize it to your benefit, regardless of what you want to do in your online business. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to be discussing you using your PLR pretty much as it is. And you're going to be using it without putting a lot of work into it. And you're going to turn it into your own product almost as soon as you get it. And this is really and truly one of the best ways to leverage PLR by using it immediately, as soon as you purchase it, as a product that you're going to brand with your name. What you're leveraging is your time. You're not going to put the time and effort necessarily into creating your own product. You're going to buy this product. You're going to put it in front of people who you know are going to have an interest in the subject matter of what the product is showing them how to do. And of course, to do this, you're going to want to have an existing email marketing list. You need to have some subscribers already. And if possible, what you're going to want to have done is you're going to want to have gone through the pre-sale process. You're going to want to have days ahead of time told your email marketing list that a product is coming. A product is coming about a certain subject matter, and you're going to start to describe how this product is going to meet their needs and solve some of the problems that maybe they're having, or even help them to accomplish some of the goals that you already know they have. And you can really most effectively do this if you already know when that product is going to be launched. So obviously, you're going to want to have looked at the product launch calendar on places like Muncheye and JV Notify so that you can purchase it when it comes out. And then you can literally get in front of the people that you're going to be mailing to. Now, obviously, you're going to want to make sure it connects your customers to a real problem that they're having or one that they want to solve. And when you do that, what you're doing is you're going to be tailoring the PLR product to meet a particular need, or angling it or slanting it so that it's talking about something that they really do have an interest in. And to do that, you're going to want to make sure that you're adding very unique components so that even if the base product all by itself is going to be the same as others are selling, your offer is still going to be unique because you're still adding those unique aspects, unique components, and you are pushing it toward a particular problem that you know they're having. Now, there are several ways to take a PLR product and make it your own unique offer. So we're going to talk about those now. Now, one of the things you can do is add interviews. So you can go out and find experts who can talk about the subject matter or talk about different problem areas of the subject matter. Again, tailoring it to the needs of your audience or your email marketing list. You can also go out and find case studies. And this is slightly different because what you're going to do is you're going to find those case studies that fit the problem areas, and you're going to find the actual solution. So rather than get someone who's going to teach the people on some kind of audio, you're going to find the problem and the solution all in one area, maybe a document, maybe an article, and you're going to give it to your customers in a way so that they know other people have already solved the problem that they're trying to solve, and it's documented how they solve it. You can also add some unique bonuses. Now, you can bring some pieces of content to the mix. You can bring other pieces of other PLR, or you can bring other resale rights content. You're going to add those unique components that you can bring and add to the project so that your customer is really getting something that they can't get from any place else. The key to this is really creating a unique selling proposition with your product. You're going to be creating something that your customers can only get from you. You can also add new components. So maybe in most PLR products, they're going to get perhaps a checklist, or they're going to get some kind of mind map, but you're going to go one step farther. You're going to add in components that are not part of other PLR products. Again, as close as you can get them to something that your customer would be interested in so that it would help them to solve their particular problem. Now, what you're trying to do ultimately is to make sure that the buyer sees the value in your product. So in other words, they need to look at everything that you are putting into your package. And when they look at it all total, that they look at it as something that they want, that it's worth it for them to spend the actual money. So now, even if they could get it elsewhere, you want them to find and see your particular offer as more valuable for the money they're going to spend, and then they will then be willing to spend that money with you. Now, to make audios and videos unique, you can add in intros. In other words, you can get different pieces of audio and video. You can record it yourself, or you can go out and purchase it, or you can have it done on places like Fiverr or Scriptlance. You can have voiceovers done, and you can add these unique pieces onto your PLR videos and audios, again, to make it something that your customer is not getting from elsewhere. You can add in different transitions. So there are lots of different ways that you can be creative with multimedia, in particular audio and video, by adding those pieces, again, to give your customer a unique experience. Now, to make text unique, you can rewrite it and or reorganize the text. So you want to put it in order of the way that the customer is looking at the problem. So maybe in your slant or in your particular market or niche, the steps that need to be taken are different. You want to reorganize the content so that it fits your particular market, it fits your particular niche. Again, you have text, you definitely want to think about rewriting it, because you don't want people to look at the same text as other people are getting. You want to take a unique approach, personalize it if possible. Now, to make documents unique, what you can do is you can add in your logos, you can actually rebrand it, and you can take them as Microsoft Word documents or as word processing documents, and then you can resave them as PDFs, but you can actually do that once you've added in things like logos, or you've added in different aspects of your particular brand. Now, the same is true when you get things like checklists and mind maps. They're typically going to come in the form of Microsoft Word or PowerPoint documents. And when that's the case, you definitely don't want to be afraid to change some of the wording or some of the order of things to reflect the things that you've actually said before to the people in your community or in your tribe or in your email marketing list. Ultimately, it's not your job just to sell a product. It's your job to create so much value for your customers that buying your product or buying your offer is going to be a no-brainer to them. So you can definitely leverage your time by getting PLR and almost using it as is, but the more value you add, the more that you change some of the components, the more that you add in different aspects, you create more value and you make your customer more willing to buy. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to be discussing using PLR as a bonus to promote affiliate products. Now, one way you can leverage PLR is to give your prospective buyers an added incentive to purchase a product through your own affiliate link. Now, when you're using PLR in this way, what you're going to do is to consider what components you want to use to give them that incentive or to use it as a bonus. Now, what's important to understand is that you want to use PLR with an e-cover. So in other words, if you're going to pick PLR and you're going to use it as your bonus, you want to make sure that it has a 3D image for your buyer to see, because it's easy for your buyer to visualize the value they're getting from that bonus. when there's a 3D image. They really feel like it's almost tangible when they make the decision, yes, I want this additional bonus, yes, I want the product, and yes, I'm really getting something of value. Now, here's what that means. Now, if you don't have one for the component or product you want to use as a bonus, you want to make sure you create one. If you use Photoshop or some other sales graphics creation software, you definitely want to have one. You have to have that for the bonus really to matter to your customer when they see it. Now, here's another consideration. You and I have to make sure that our bonuses are tied closely to the product we're promoting. We have to make sure that the customer sees, again, this relationship between what they're getting and what they're about to buy. In fact, there are going to be some customers, they're going to make their purchase of that affiliate product solely on the basis of the value that you're providing in that bonus. As a result, your buyer has to be interested in the underlying subject matter of the product. You don't want your bonus and the product to be two different things going in two different directions, because that means they're not really interested so much in the product. You want them to keep the product. Now, a relevant bonus helps you in that respect, because at least you know they're interested in the bonus. It's in the same general direction as the product. Now, since this is a bonus and not the actual product, it's ethical to have the buyer opt in to get the content. The reason that's important to say is because it's not necessarily ethical to have your customer opt in for the content they paid for. However, when you are giving a bonus, particularly a bonus that they are getting as an affiliate or something that they're going to get as a result of purchasing through your affiliate link, they're going to get their product right away from the product seller or the vendor. You, on the other hand, are going to give them the opportunity to opt in and to become part of an email marketing list so that you'll know how they bought. And if you haven't captured them onto a particular email marketing list, you'll be able to capture them at that point. Now, this is going to be especially helpful if the buyers are coming from another area. So maybe you're getting them from social media. Maybe you're getting them from some kind of paid traffic. And what it's going to do is it's ultimately going to help you to build your list as you make additional sales. So this process of making sure that you have a bonus, of doing it in a way that is tied to that underlying product, and then having the customer opt in to get it is an important part, not only to make additional sales, but also to build your email marketing list. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to be discussing using your PLR to create a membership site. Now, one of the ways that you can leverage PLR is by using it to create a stream of income that's recurring, or in other words, your buyers are going to be paying you on a monthly basis for access to the content you're providing. Now, that means that you're creating what's typically called a membership site. Now, there are two primary uses for PLR in your membership. The first, you're going to want to make sure that when your customers walk in the doors or when they first land on your membership site, they see everything they need to succeed. Now, on the one hand, that means that everything you promised them, everything you said in your sales letter, all of that's going to be inside of the membership when they first log in. On the other hand, it means that you're going to have any reference content or tools that'll help them get the most out of that content. And of course, that means that you can purchase that reference content as PLR and have it in your membership when your users get there. So they won't have to worry about knowing HTML, or they won't have to worry about learning WordPress, or they won't have to worry about the technical things that could hold them back from implementing your solution. You have already given that to them through the provision of PLR. Now, the second use for PLR in your membership is to provide unannounced bonuses to your members. And this is a very good way for you to give your customer that added benefit of being in a membership with you. Now, unannounced bonuses allow you to reward your members. It makes it painful for them to cancel. Of course, the most important use for PLR is to provide membership content. Or in other words, you want to make sure you're doing what you promised in your sales letter. That's always going to be first and foremost. But one of the things that you can do is to always make sure you are supplementing that, giving your buyer more than they ask for, over-delivering every single month. Now, if you're an expert in the topic area and you don't have time to create all the content that you promised them, Well, you can use PLR to provide some of that content, or to give you that added boost, or to give you something else cutting edge that you can build on to give them that content that you promised them. If you are not an expert in the topic area, you can certainly use PLR to help you with what would be hard for you to create. It would be hard for you, again, to do the research. It would be hard for you to go and learn something when you've got to produce month after month and you've got your other responsibilities in terms of running your business. You will be able to use PLR and leverage it to give your buyers that content. Now, memberships content can be a regular video, it can be an email, or it can be an ebook. It can be any form of content that you put in your sales letter or that will satisfy the need or solve the problem that your members join your membership to solve. Now, you'll want to use the graphics to add some professionalism to the look of your membership area, as well as what you give to the customer in your membership. And of course, all of those are things that you can get through private label rights or resale rights. Now, as we close out this video, one of the things you want to keep in mind is that the average membership site's tenure is going to be 3.5 months. That means that after 3.5 months, people generally start to feel as if they've gotten everything they're going to get out of a membership. Now, that means that you should be providing some kind of extra bump to them on a regular basis. And you can and should use PLR to upgrade your membership. Now, this is different from the unannounced bonus. This is really giving your customer more than they paid for, additional sessions, additional things that they can use, something that they can use in the topic area that you promised them. Again, you should always be bumping up the value so that your buyer sees more and more value from you, and again, making it painful for them to unsubscribe from your membership. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to be discussing using your PLR as a second or third upsell in your marketing funnel. Now there are going to be times when you're going to run out of content or any acceptable offer to add to your product launch. And just as a point of reference, most marketers add at least one upsell to their product. However, as you know, there are several parts to the standard theory of upsells in information products. While there are no hard and fast rules on how to create upsells in your business, most successful information products follow a pretty predictable pattern. After a buyer has purchased a front-end product, they'll typically be shown an upsell product. While the front end is typically a base model or basic model, the upsell is typically the upgraded, fully featured Pro version. Most marketers will already have this in place when they're putting their marketing funnel together for their product. Now, it's after that point that marketers and or entrepreneurs tend to have gaps in their offering or in their funnel. Now, the second upsell should typically be some kind of DFY or done-for-you implementation of the product. And this means that you have basically in this upsell made it easier and convenient for your buyer to get the results that you promised. Savvy marketers can or will use PLR as either the entire DFY solution or as a major part of it. In some cases, there is even a third upsell, which is typically designed to help the customer maintain their results. Now, this means that the buyer is going to need some kind of resource on a regular basis. And that's going to require them, of course, to pay on a regular basis. Now, the content or membership can be as simple as you uploading content into a Facebook group or into a membership site. Alternatively, it can be as simple as delivering a link once monthly via an autoresponder. Regardless of the how, the third upsell can be content that you purchase and provide to your buyers via the membership process. Now, if you're going to have buyers pay you on a regular basis, you'll want to deliver new premium content on a regular basis. And you can use PLR to serve as that content for you. Now, for all intents and purposes, what you're offering in the third upsell is going to be a membership of some kind. And so that requires you to be able to source content, make sure it's of high quality, and to deliver it to your buyer. And in order to leverage your time, and often even to provide the highest quality to your customer, you want to consider buying high quality PLR or resale rights content. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to be discussing using PLR to create a local offline workshop. Now when you purchase PLR, you typically get the content at a wholesale or a distributor price. However, the question is, how will you get people to buy at the real price or the real value of the content that you have, at the $47 or $97 level or even more? And one of the best ways to accomplish this is to use your PLR content to create a keynote or a workshop. Now in this case, what you're doing is you're relying on the PLR to fill gaps in your knowledge of the subject matter. You're also relying on the PLR to give you a head start in creating the presentation materials for your workshop or your talk. The reason this is important is that you want to spend the bulk of your time marketing your workshop. Now, there are several aspects of a workshop where your PLR is going to be useful to you. Now, first, what you're going to want to do is to have your content to use as a lead magnet for people to join your email marketing list. You're going to make it available to people in order to be the solution to their problem. And because they want to solve their problem, they're going to want to get your lead magnet so they'll opt into your list. The second thing you'll want to do is to have pre-workshop content to engage people while they wait for your workshop. Now, this is a great use of PLR so that you can stay focused on marketing. In other words, you're going to give your users, you're going to give the people who are going to be interested in the subject matter of the workshop something to do, something to think about, maybe a case study that they can apply, or something that they can be working through in their own life or in their own business, whatever your niche is, so that they are engaged with you. They are engaged and getting excited about the workshop, and you can use PLR for that. Now, third, you can always use written content for any of the actual workshop presentation. And basically, what that's going to mean is that you are going to be able to give your attendees the opportunity to engage with your content. You're going to be able to give your workshop attendees the opportunity to follow you. They're going to either have a document, maybe a PDF, or they're going to have something written in their hands. And basically what this is going to mean is that you are going to be converting your content, whether it's from audio or video or text, into your presentation software. In other words, you're going to be distilling everything down into a PowerPoint presentation that you're going to be not only showing people, but you're going to give them a copy of while they're at the actual presentation. Of course, you can give them a word processing document also. Now, fourth, you will be able to use the PLR for any example video that you want to show while you're in the workshop. That works particularly well are hands-on or technical videos that explain processes. Now, when you're presenting, you will at times need a break from what you're talking about. So in other words, people can't process a lot of ideas or new information. They need a break in the routine so that they will be able to catch up with you and really almost exhale to get the information that you're trying to present to them. And being able to show them a video is a good way to keep that content moving and to keep the people engaged. Now, you can also use checklists that you get in PLR or mind maps. These are great giveaways as a reminder of your presentation, whether you give them out ahead of time, but definitely afterward. So you've already done the presentation, you've gone through several steps, and maybe it's going to be difficult for the people to remember what it is that you talked about. Well, this is why you give them a checklist on the way out the door, or you email them a checklist that reminds them of your presentation so that they can get a sense for what it is that you talked about and they have it clear in their minds, and then they have you at the top of their mind when you get ready to make an offer. Now, if you brand these PLR checklists and the mind maps, what's going to happen is they're going to be able then to share them with other people when they're excited about them. So if you've given good content during your workshop, you're going to have this branded PDF or this branded sheet of paper, and people are going to be able to share it with other people who may be having the same problem or who may be trying to accomplish the same goal, and they will then be exposed to your brand. Now, what you want to do is to re-image as many of the graphics as you can fit into your audience. And so what that means is that you want to get graphics that are made for the business opportunity niche. So you want to make sure that your graphics frame the overall presentation and even frame the goals of people who are going to be interested in your particular topic or your particular niche. Now, a great way to add value after the workshop is to be able to provide post-workshop content. Now, this you can use PLR for, especially because you're going to be giving this to your attendees, again, as a reminder of what it is you talked about and to continue to give them value and to seed them and get them ready to make a purchase from you. You can also use your PLR as webinar content for those who are unable to attend your workshop live. So maybe they could not attend and get the benefit of what you were presenting. You can certainly do the same presentation, but you can add additional benefits to the online session to keep people engaged in that medium. Now, this means that you'll primarily be using PowerPoint and PDFs to distribute while you speak on the webinar. And most importantly, you can use that PLR to create an offer for the product you're going to be selling after your webinar. So you're going to get these people onto a webinar where you're going to give them mostly content. You're going to give them good information. You're going to show them how to solve some of the problem, but then you are going to be moving them toward making an offer. Now, in some cases, you can purchase an entire solution in PLR, including the front end, the back-end product, and everything you're going to need in order to do the presentation and make an offer. Now, of course, it's perfectly acceptable to piece the whole thing together. You can get the offers from one place, you can get the content from another place, as long as it's relevant to the people who are going to be attending and that the offers are going to be enticing to them and really help them and give them value. And all of this is going to be very easy to do inside of any of the affiliate platforms like JVZoo, Warrior Plus, ClickBank, or Zaxa. Now, all the same content can typically be used in the same context for small businesses if the graphics reflect what they'd be comfortable seeing. So you want to make sure that your graphics frame the presentation and frame the offer for small businesses, not necessarily for people who are in the business opportunity niche. And when you use PLR for your workshop, make sure to keep in mind the structure of your workshop. So that means that you're going to want to present part of the content and sell another part. So you've got a piece of PLR or you've got some content pieces. You want to look at that content in terms of which part are you going to present and which part is going to be the offer. Typically what you want to do is you want to tell them what to do in your presentation and then show them how to do it in your offer. That's an easy way to think of the break between how you structure the content or how you divvy it out to put in both offer and presentation. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to be discussing using your PLR to create a coaching program. Now, another great way to use PLR is to create and maintain a coaching program. Now, since you're going to want to have a lot of resources for your customers to learn from, you're also going to want to have resources for them to use. And of course, you can purchase PLR for both of those purposes, both for them to learn from and for them to use. Now, you want to make sure that you're going to get high quality vendors of written content especially. And then when you're using that content to give your students or your customers direction, you may have to tweak that content to fit the customer and the context they're in to move them from where they are at that particular time to the point B that they need to go in. So of course, if that's the case, you can't assume that the content that you're purchasing for your students can be used as is. Again, you've got to fit it not only in the context of your niche and the customer, but also where they are at the present time in your coaching program. You want to take time to prepare before each individual coaching session to make sure that you've created the necessary content to move them forward in that session. Now, in this case, PLR is going to give you leverage from having to do the research as well as creating the components for your students to have for that session. And it is your job to make sure that each component that you give away in that session fits the context of that session. Now, depending on the rights package you buy, you may want to use some of your PLR to give to your students the assets they need in order to execute your method. In other words, Your method is probably going to be different in telling your student to do something than other people or other instructional methods. That means then that you're going to want to make sure that the content fits your method, that it is individual to what you say and what you have been teaching. And as is the case in any method, you want to make sure to use PLR in order to fill any gap in your knowledge or ability to teach the subject. That's always a good idea to use PLR to teach basic subjects that your customer needs to know, but that you don't have time to teach. For example, you may want to talk about a method that requires your customer to have a website. However, you don't want to spend your coaching time on website building. So this is a great time to use PLR videos in order to give to your customer as a reference in case he or she doesn't know how to build their own site. Now, coaching programs are always going to focus on the solution that you sold them in the sales page, and PLR should be used to cover the basic skills necessary to execute that solution. Now, if what you're doing is coaching someone on a specific topic, one of the best ways to get the information for them to prepare for that topic is for you to use PLR. In some cases, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be giving that member content, and then you're going to be tailoring it during your session to fit your program. Other cases, you're going to teach that actual content. And in that case, the best thing to do is to arrange the content into PowerPoint slides for you to present on a webinar or in some kind of online meeting that you're using in order to administer your coaching program. Now, another aspect of providing coaching artifacts is to give your students something to do between live sessions. What this means is that you will need to repurpose components like checklists and mind maps into step-by-step processes. What you'll also want to do then is to think about getting PLR video courses that show those intermediate steps between the points on your checklists and your mind maps. So let's go back to this example where we are going to be considering teaching on building a website, but we don't want to take the time to teach that part of the course. And of course, we're talking about then purchasing a set of videos that would teach us how to set up that WordPress website and use that as a bonus and put that along in our video course. Now, here's the only way that that really works in a coaching program. We've got to make sure that the video we purchase is an extremely high quality program. It's got to really give our students the same level of instruction that we would want them to have from us. We don't want to just give them a video course just for the sake of having a bonus or because it's easy. It's only going to give us leverage if it's at a level of something that we would actually buy, and definitely something that we would want to pass on to our customer. Now, following this, in any coaching program, we want our students to be able to take action on our suggestions. And the best way to do that is to give them the content and components with some of the steps already done for them. So not only are we giving them assets to do, we're going to actually go the next step in doing some of the process for them and giving it to them partially done so that they can have success or that they can overcome some of the barriers that they might have. It's a great role for PLR as long as we have the rights to the component to use them that way. And so PLR has a lot of variation in it that we can actually manipulate in order to give our customer contextually a way to succeed in our coaching program. As long as we're willing, number one, to give them the highest quality, and number two, to make sure it fits the context, and number three, to make sure that the intermediate steps are not the things that we focus on, but that we use PLR to bring our buyer up through those intermediate steps to our solution where our coaching takes over. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, what we're going to be talking about is using your PLR as a bonus on your sales page for your product. Now, you will want to use relevant PLR to act as a bonus for the product that you are marketing or that you are offering or selling. And when you do this, you want to try to find PLR with great graphics. And the reason for this is because you will want to have a graphical representation on your sales page. Again, you want people to understand and you want them to feel the weight or the impact of your bonus. The graphical representation will give your customer the ability to visualize that value. Now, if possible, that graphical representation should be a 3D instead of a 2D or a flat image. The 3D image is more tangible to the viewer or to the customer that you are potentially going to get. That means that you may have to purchase some PLR before you actually need or use it. You want to have it on hand when you're ready to use it as part of the sales process. So if you want to get it ahead of time so that it'll be in inventory or that you'll have it, then you won't be paying as much for it, and you will be able to put it together quickly when it's time for you to put together your own offer. Now, if you make sure to always purchase high quality content, purchasing before you have the need will help toward the content being relevant when you decide to use it. So the best way to make it useful is to make sure that you're really getting PLR that you would want to either buy yourself or definitely you take care to pass on to your customer. Now, having multiple bonuses means that you can add at least 3 to the sales page, and that's really what you should be looking to add. That tends to be the average of people who are selling information products. Now, it also means that you can add a bonus to increase the scarcity of the deal. So in other words, what you're doing is you are going to tell the buyer that the only way they're going to get a specific bonus is if they purchase it before that bonus runs out or before the time runs out. So you are using both scarcity and urgency to your advantage. Now, as the buyer makes their way through the sales process, you want the bonus to help them see the value in what you are offering in total. That value should be clear when they see the graphics as well as how you describe those graphics. Now, when you offer irrelevant and over-the-top bonuses, what you're really doing is devaluing your product, sometimes without even knowing it. Now, most marketers will consider at least 1, but some will commit to at least 3 bonuses. Now, one way to add more than 3 bonuses would be to make one or some of those bonuses time sensitive. These are typically called fast action bonuses. Now, if you're going to market them that way, make sure that they'll be easy to remove from your site quickly and easily during your product launch. Now, we've been saying that if you're going to use a bonus, you want to make sure that they have graphical images and, if you can, 3D images. But you can use a bonus that does not have a graphical image that comes in the package with it. However, you do want to then expend the resources in order to have 3D images created. And you can have those created typically at a website like Fiverr or Scriptlance or Elance. You want to make sure those images reflect exactly what the buyer is going to be getting. Now, lastly, you can display graphics by re-imaging all of the PLR and making it similar to your product branding. So in other words, you're going to take the graphical images that are there. You're not going to use the packaging that came in the PLR. You're going to make all of the bonuses very similar to the 3D images that maybe you have for your product. In other words, everything's going to look extremely branded and extremely similar on your sales page. You want to make sure when you do that your buyers know that they do not reflect on what you're doing with your business. So in other words, the bonuses may not necessarily be at the same level of quality that your product is going to be. You want to make sure that your buyer understands that yes, these are bonuses and that these are additions. They're not necessarily your product. So if you're going to go that route of branding them the same way, make sure that the buyer understands still that these are bonuses and these are not your product. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to be discussing using your PLR as a bonus for your affiliates to use to promote your product. Now, a smart but little used way to leverage PLR is for affiliate bonuses. And that means what you'd be doing is you'd have your affiliate apply to sell your product. Then you'd put together a bonus page for them with bonus products. Your affiliates would get the benefit of being able to offer their customers an added incentive to buy from their affiliate link. You get the benefit from having increased traffic from affiliates being able to be more successful and being more willing to promote your product. You will also benefit with an increased conversion rate because affiliates being able to offer high quality bonus means they're going to get more customers to be willing to buy through their affiliate link when they see the offer. Now, another reason for this high conversion rate is that a lot of the bad traffic is going to be filtered out by that bonus page. Because when they're not sure they really want the product, they're likely to drop out or stop at the bonus page. Now, with fewer interested people coming to the page where the offer is, your conversion rate should be much higher than you thought it might be. Now, in most cases, you will deliver the bonuses from the inside of your members area or on your download page. So you don't have to worry about handing the bonuses over to the affiliate to give them the opportunity to deliver it themselves. Most of the information product creators will handle it by putting those bonuses on the inside of their site. Now, if you choose to go this route, you do want to make sure you qualify your affiliates for that option. So in other words, you're going to have people who are going to come to you. They're going to get the bonuses, of course, under the auspices that they're going to be using them to promote your product. But you don't just want to give away bonuses. And in some cases, you may or may not necessarily have the rights permission in order to give them away anyway. And you will also want to make sure that you have the rights to pass on that content to your affiliates. Now, in most cases, you want to have this in place well in advance of your actual launch. In essence, you're probably going to be offering 2 sets of bonuses. One set's going to be on your sales page. That's going to be a set of bonuses you are going to offer to the customers that are coming to your sales page. The other set of bonuses is going to be on a bonus page for your affiliates, but delivered by you inside of your members area. Now, what this does is it makes it easier for your affiliates to get started promoting right away as soon as they see the offer and as soon as they have the opportunity. And of course, as we stated, it also improves the statistics for your product, which in turn could result in more affiliates wanting to promote your product. Now, to start this process, you are going to want to determine what other vendors are doing on behalf of their affiliates. And you can do this by going to a site like muncheye.com and then looking at some of the JV pages. Now, you will want to go one step further in determining what kinds of bonuses are being given to the affiliates to promote those products. You will find that some vendors and some sellers are willing to give the bonuses to their affiliates. Others will give them the bonus page and the images and then deliver them inside of the product. Of course, the latter way is effective because it removes barriers to affiliates being able to send emails to their buyers. So all of these are great ways to use PLR, and once again, it builds your sales, improves your statistics, and can invite other affiliates in directly by improving those statistics. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to be discussing how to use PLR as your webinar content. Now, a great way to use PLR content is to repurpose it as content you're going to be sharing in your webinars. Now, in some cases, depending on what kind of package you buy, you'll have slides already created for you. Now, you can use those slides as your guide to teach on the subject that you're going to be doing on your webinar. Now, in many cases, you will be using the information that you pick up from the PLR to learn the content well enough to teach it on the webinar. Now, this will be important because you want to have the webinar positioning that makes you sound like an expert. Now, one other interesting thing that you can do is to take PLR videos, splice them together into 1 hour of content for an automated or recorded webinar. Now, in another sense, since part of what you'll be doing is to rebrand any of the graphics that you get, don't be afraid to use them to make your slide presentation attractive for your webinar. Now, this is easily accomplished by using your graphics as a background image, faded enough for people to clearly read your message. Now, one of the things that keeps marketers from doing their own webinar is not knowing exactly what to say. Now, most of the time, this is due to feeling less than confident about the content they're presenting. Now, on a webinar, what's most important is the presentation that people are going to be seeing on their screen. It should not look like information that they want to read. Instead, the information should be used as a guide for the audience to follow the presentation. So in other words, it shouldn't look like a word processing document. Some webinar creators use a script, which is a good use for some forms of PLR naturally. Other webinar creators speak extemporaneously without a script, where those presentation slides will be guiding the audience. Now, if you choose to do your webinar in this way, speaking extemporaneous, you will use your PLR to learn your subject matter. You can then use multiple PLR products on the same topic, and in this case, you will be producing something original. In fact, depending on the rights of your PLR, you can easily sell or use your presentation as part of a future information product. The webinars do require that you break up your audience attention with relevant graphics. Now, if you choose to use graphics of any kind in your webinar presentation, make sure that it doesn't overpower the information you're sharing. Now, if you want to use graphics to theme your content, you can again take them and create an opaque background or a very light background on your presentation slides. One other thing webinar hosts do to keep people engaged to the end is to promise them a free gift. And this is a great use for a PLR product component. Now, you can do the same thing on a webinar to actually get people to attend. You can promise them a free piece of content or something free. Now, if your goal is to sell a particular PLR product as a result of your presentation, you want to give good content while avoiding telling your audience everything they need to know. Your audience's attention span is probably going to be about 20 minutes long at the maximum. Of course, as we talked about in another video, a good way to think about how to organize your content should follow a recognizable pattern. Now, in your webinar, you want to answer the questions why and what to do. Now, in the front-end offer, you should be selling them a product where you'll answer the question what to do in a lot more detail. And then in the back-end offer that you sell them, you want to answer the question, how should I do this? If you choose this framework, you'll want to organize your content along these lines. That means that your webinar, if designed to sell, should use the PLR content telling them why the topic is important for them to consider. It should then use the PLR telling them what's possible if they learn the content or implement the method that you are teaching. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, in this video, we're going to be discussing re-imaging the components of your PLR. Now, of course, you will be rebranding and re-imaging all of the content that you get in your PLR package so that it enhances whatever your unique selling proposition is for your product and or your business. Now, when you are given PSD or Photoshop files of the graphics, you'll be using them along with a graphics editor like Photoshop or GIMP in order to rename the product and or remake the images consistent with your offers, whether they be affiliate or otherwise. Now, when it comes to videos and audios, you can add in intros and outros to make them more consistent with your business or more consistent with the product that you are concerned with. Now, when it comes to documents, you should be branding with your logos, but also with images and colors consistent with the desires of your customer. So in other words, if your customer base tends to like lighter colors or pastels, you want to go in that direction in terms of your re-imaging your graphics and or your documents. Now, in the PLR, if you're given sales pages or opt-in pages or upsell pages as part of your PLR package, make sure that the language is consistent with your offer. You want to make sure that it's saying and selling to the people that you want to actually buy. Typically, a PLR package has numerous opportunities for you to promote your own products and affiliate products inside of their text or document or wherever it is that you can customize the product. As a result, you should always be looking for opportunities to place hyperlinks to your products as well as your affiliate promotions. At the same time, don't turn your written content into a situation where it looks like there are way too many links on the page. Now, the way to think about redoing PLR in this way is to make sure that there is at least one helpful place for all of your links. Also, related to this, don't assume that the PLR has the links in place that you want for your customer. Go over the content and remove any unwanted hyperlinks. Now, one tangible way for you to re-image the components of your PLR is to suggest your own resources. In some cases, you'll get a resources guide as part of the PLR. In other cases, you won't. Regardless, you should always make sure to provide resources consistent with the things that you talk about in your business. Now, re-imaging the components can also mean redoing the PowerPoint presentation entirely, or editing any videos or video clips with graphical imagery on it. Now, the most important decision is your marketing angle, which should determine what your graphics look like, as well as everything else you're going to do with your PLR. Now, when you go over your PLR for the last time, when you're getting it ready for sale or getting it ready for delivery or getting it ready to put before your customer, first, make sure the product looks like it's unique to your brand. Also, make sure the product is unrecognizable as PLR. Third, make sure there's enough value in the product that you would want to buy it. That's even if you're doing it as content. Now, if you can't answer yes to all the above, keep re-imaging your PLR until you can. You want to deliver something that gives your customer a consistent customer experience from everything else they're getting from you. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. And welcome back. Now, in this video, we're going to be discussing using your PLR to create email and autoresponder content. Now, one of the best ways to use your PLR content is to provide content for your subscribers in your autoresponder. Internet marketers typically send emails out to their subscribers on a daily basis. But it can be difficult to sit down and write something that teaches something substantive every single day. You can easily use written PLR to create a series and spread it out over days while giving your buyer a call to action at the end. Of course, you can also use video content to deliver lessons to your subscribers by loading the content into YouTube and providing a link afterward. You can do the same with audio content, providing a link for a number of days to some helpful content. Now, if you'd rather personalize all of your content that you're putting inside of your email, you're still not having to research the idea if you remake the audio, video, or the writing. Now, this is something that you can repeat throughout the year when you'd rather not create the content that goes in your email or you decide to take time off. Now, the idea with autoresponder content is to keep your subscribers engaged until they're moved to become buyers. Of course, you'll always need to find that balance between evergreen content and the things that people new to your list won't grow bored with. And bringing new content to your autoresponder is vital to keeping people engaged and to keep them opening your emails so that when they do get your offers, not only will they see them, they'll be receptive to receiving them and open to clicking on them so that they can buy. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. In conclusion, now, there are some other purposes that your PLR can serve that will help to give you leverage in your business. Of course, you can always repurpose some of your content for social media. This will always give you an edge in terms of being able to provide the people who watch you on social media valuable content. You can also repurpose to different forms of PLR. So in other words, you can turn text into audio, you can turn audio to video, all those things to repurpose things into forms that will give your audience, wherever they are, more content from you in the form they expect. You can always repurpose for blog content. If you are a regular blogger and your audience expects good content, cutting edge content, PLR is a great way to deliver it if you're willing to customize it and give it to your audience in the way that they expect. Everything can be Everything can be repurposed for video content, whether or not it's something you get from a PDF, an audio, even another video can be repurposed for video content that you can make unique for your audience. You can repurpose for podcast content. Now, typically this is going to involve you learning the content or reading the content or having talking points. But the fact that no one's going to see you on camera and you are going to be delivering content to people who have come to listen to you, So you can get knowledge on a topic and bring it to your audience using PLR. Now you can repurpose some content for published content. Now you do need to be careful about that. There are filters that will keep out PLR. You have to rewrite PLR and you can only use it for ideas. You can only use it for inspiration. If you use it word for word and you change word, it's very likely that you could be caught by spam filters and you could be caught by PLR filters with companies like Amazon. So if you choose to use PLR for published content, use it for the ideas and not directly for the line by line content. So now in this course, we've discussed 11 different ways to leverage PLR in your online business. Regardless of what kind of business you already run, PLR can help you save time and effort. As you hit any content-based barrier, stop and think whether or not you could use high-quality PLR to bridge the gap. For example, are you going to need to add more value to your product? Well, then you can use PLR to solve that problem. Are you going to write a book? We just talked about that. You can actually use PLR, again, if you're willing to use it for the ideas. Do you need to create more content for your subscribers? You can definitely repurpose PLR of all forms, of all types, in order to deliver content to your subscribers. Would you like to build your authority as a leader in your niche? Well, getting the depth of knowledge in your niche can be as close as the next 3 or 4 PLR products on a particular topic. Do you need to make presentations more informative when you give them? Well, always beef them up with additional PLR. If any of these things sound like something you need to do, you've now seen 11 ways that you can use your PLR to accomplish them. And the good thing about the methods you've been shown is that they can easily be adapted to solve other content and information marketing related roadblocks. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I'll see you either in another video or in another course. Hello and welcome. Now in this over-the-shoulder video, we're going to be talking about resale rights and PLR certificates. You're looking at an actual license on your screen right now. And what we want to do is to go through a couple of these so that you can start to understand what some of the right certificates are going to be. Now, I'm going to go backwards one step before I would have opened up this certificate so you can start looking for the right certificates when you buy a PLR product. So typically, you're going to see a designation. And as you can see here, this one says MRR at the end. So you can expect that this is going to be a master resale rights product. I'm going to open up this product and I'm going to actually go ahead and open it up. And what you're going to see is that you're going to see a license here at the end. Sometimes it'll be inside of a folder. Sometimes the folder will be all by itself and it'll say licenses. You will want to take a look at the license so that you can find out what it is you're going to do. Now I'm going to open up the license that we were just looking at. You're going to notice right away that your license is a master resale rights license from this vendor. And again, every vendor is going to do master resale rights differently. And so you have to look at the inside. Now, there is one aspect to this that you will want to take a look at a resale rights agreement before you buy the product to make sure that it's going to be what you need it for. So let's take a look at this agreement. You'll notice that with master resale rights with this product that you get to have master resale rights, or to resell with personal use rights. So you don't have to sell with master resale rights or resale rights. You can sell with personal use rights if you want to in some cases. Whenever you're going to do it for resale, you've got to do it for $7 minimum. That's the agreement. You can also add the product to your paid membership site. So again, that's what this vendor is offering. They're allowing you to give it away as a bonus. They're allowing you to edit the sales pages. You are not allowed to edit the contents of the ebooks and the videos. So you'll want to take note of that, because if you were going to either alter it, you were going to add some bumpers to the videos, or you were going to add or slant the content, that's not something that you can do with this master resale rights product. You do not have private label rights. So that means that you can't really take it as your own and put your name on it. You're not given that right any place in this agreement. You are also not given the right to give away the ebook. So you can't use this as a bribe. So if you're going to use this product, it's going to need to be sold for at least $7, or if you're going to have the video package for $17. So again, that's the agreement that you are going to be operating with when you buy this product that says master resale rights. But again, every agreement is going to be different. We're going to take a look at a different one right now. So we're going to go inside of this one. It's called Cooking Healthy. It's a PLR package. And you'll notice here that it has a license. We're going to open up that license right now. Now, this is a one-page agreement. So one of the things you'll notice is that this vendor has said right away that you can't transfer this license. So even if you sell this product or use it as a bonus, you can't transfer the license. You're going to have to define your own. And you'll notice here that the vendor is giving you some of the rights. We're going to take a look at those right now. I'm going to size this up here. And so you can actually use this content where its express purpose is for you to republish as a newsletter. So they're giving you some things that you can do, right? And all of these things are really designed around you creating content. You'll notice here, though, that you can't claim copyright, right, to the original content, nor can you sell this as a PLR product. That's important to know. Nor can you offer it through an auction site or anything like that. So basically, you are not allowed to sell this content as is. You're going to have to change it and turn it into content. And this is a PLR product as defined by the person who's selling it. And so anytime that you buy something, you have to realize that the person who's actually doing the selling, they're going to determine what private label rights means. It's going to mean something different for every particular vendor. Now, let's take a look at another certificate. Okay, now I'm inside of some software this time, and you'll notice here the license is going to look a little different. It's actually in a text file. It's not in a PDF, but it's right here in the inside folder. We're going to open up that license, and we're going to take a look at it. You're going to notice that this is software, and the only thing that you cannot do is to sell the software with private label rights. So you don't get to put your name on it. You don't get to call it your own. You don't get to rebrand it. You are going to then be selling this software as is, but it's going to be the software as you bought it. Now, you can brand this software with what they call a brander. That's something that they give you, but you can't sell the brander. So basically what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to sell it with resale rights or master resale rights. The only thing that you can't do is to actually pass on the brander. So make sure that you understand that when you are actually using this package in order to beef up maybe your affiliate products or even to size up your particular products by adding this one. Again, you're going to be able to give resale rights. You just can't use the brander. We're going to take a look at one more PLR product here. We're going to open this one up. You're going to notice here that here's a package and you're going to have a license here. And it's actually going to be in a text file. Let's go ahead and open up that text file. And notice you can't sell this product, nor can you give away. What you can do is put your name on the sales letter. You can modify the email series. You can give away the email course to your opt-in subscribers. So what you'll need to do is to just make sure of what your rates are before you actually take a look at it. Now, if you can, obviously, you want to take a look at what the rates are before you actually buy it. But short of that, definitely as soon as you get your product, you want to open it up and then determine whether or not you can use it in your package the way you would like to. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video.